Hello, this is Mr. Painter with another fabulous IXL tutorial. Today we're working on the volume of spheres. All right. So we have a question. A sphere is basically like a basketball, a planet, or anything that's round, in 3D round, I should say. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So when learning how to do this, what I always do is just go ahead and submit it. Notice I got 0 questions correct and 0 smart scores. So if I just submit it and get it wrong, I lose no points and I get the full explanation of how to do it. So we're going to use pi as 3.14, and the formula that we're looking for is volume equals 4 divide 3. Don't trip on the fraction, right? So 4 divide 3 times pi times r third. Okay, that means r times r times r 3 times, right? And plug it in and use a calculator. So we got our calculator ready to the right side here and round to the nearest hundred. All right, so main thing here is use our formula. Volume equals 4 divide 3 times pi times r to the third. That's what we're looking at doing. All right, so just a little trick right there. We're getting started if you are unsure of how to get started. So I noticed I took a hit on 1 point, but that's going to be well worth it at the end. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So I got volume equals 4 over 3 times pi times r to the third. All right. And notice that the radius is equal to 4. So next step, I got volume equals 4 divide 3. If you don't like the fraction, it's division, right? Multiply 3.14, which is representative of pi, times 4 to the third power. Next step, we got volume equals. All I'm going to do right now is address the 4 to the third power. All right, everything else I'm going to leave the same. So I'm going to leave 4 divide 3 times pi, which is 3.14 times 4 times 4 times 4, and that's going to represent to the third power. Now at this point, because it's division from left to right, I would just use a calculator. So let's see how this works out. So we're going to go to the calculator. We're going to do 4 divide 3 times 3.14, which is pi, then 4 to the third power, times 4 times 4 times 4. Now, we talked about in a previous tutorial that you can use x to the y button, which is 4 to the third power. But just for this tutorial, I'm going to show that we have 4 times 4 times 4 to represent that third power. And hit equals and see where we're at. Okay, so notice on our calculator, we get a total volume of 267.946. Now, I want to round to the nearest hundred. This is to the thousandth right now. Because the 6 is higher than the 5, I'm going to take that 4 and round up to a 5. So my total volume is going to come out to be 267.95, because that 6 is going to cause that hundredths place to round up by 1. And there we go. So use the formula, plug it in. The only thing you're plugging in today is the radius. Watch out for the diameter. So we're going to keep a lookout for the diameter. They might just try to pop up with one of those kind of questions, but it's all good. So let's see if we got it right. So we got 267.95. Bam, 12 points right off the bat. Clear the board. And let's just keep going. All right, so same formula. The formula doesn't change. Just keep using the same thing. So we're going to get faster and faster as we go. Let's see. Let's get the pencil rolling here. All right. All right, so we got volume equals. Think about it. Think about it. What was the volume? Oh, yeah. It's 4 over 3 times pi times r to the third power. And just plug in the radius. Radius is the only thing that's on here. Radius is 6. So I got volume equals 4 divide 3 times 3.14 times 6, which is your radius, to the third power. Now I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to show you how to use the calculator for the exponent instead of doing 6 times 6 times 6. All right, so let's clear our calculator. We got 4 divide 3 multiply 3.14 multiply 6. We're going to use our exponent tool, x to the y, and our exponent is to the third power. So again, we just matched it similar to what we have here. And hit the equals, and what do we get? We get 904.32, which is really nice because it already got us to the nearest hundred. So volume equals 904.32. That's it. No rounding. And again, we just use the calculator with the exponent button to take that that step out of there where we had to do 6 times 6 times 6. All right. So we got, let's see if it worked, 904.32. Right on the money. All right. We're going to keep going. So we have volume equals, try to think, what was the volume? That's right. Volume was 4 over 3 times pi times r to the third power. Remember third power? Because I know from cylinders and cones you're used to the second power, but it's third power here. Okay. So we got volume equals 4 divide 3. Don't let the fractions bother you. Fractions are division, right? Okay. Times 3.14 times, we're looking for our radius. Ooh, we got an issue here. 16 is the diameter. See, they were pretty fast to bring that up. But we only want from the center to the outer edge of the circle, which is half of 16. So therefore, because we only want half of 16, we're going to use a radius of 8. Okay, very important. So we're going to use 8 to the third power. Why? Because r represents radius, not the diameter. So careful about that. All right, calculator time. 4 divide 3 times 3.14, which represents pi, times 8. We're going to use the exponent tool, x to the y, and our exponent is to the third power. So notice I have 83. I did something wrong, so I'm going to go CE and try it again. There we go. We got a little tiny gray box. Hit 3. Now we're ready to go. All right, so we have a volume of, let's see, we got 2,143.57. And for the thousandths place, I got a 3. Now, because the 3 is lower than a 5, we can just stop at the 7 and we don't touch the 7. It's lower. So again, if the 3 is lower than a 5, which is the thousandths place, leave it alone. Now, if it's higher, bump up. All right. So here we go. Just match it up. So we got 2,043.57. Please get it right. Yeah. Okay, 3 questions later, we're at 32, so moving right along. Not bad, not bad. Clear the board. All right. And the process repeats. You just keep going. So we're going to go down a little bit. There we go. We got some room. And volume equals 4 divide 3 times pi times r to the, what was the exponent? That's right, third power, right? So third power. Okay, volume equals, now this is where we plug everything in. We got 4 divide 3. I don't like fractions because fractions mean divide. Times pi, which is 3.14. Well, Mr. Painter, how do you keep getting pi as 3.14? Because it tells you right here in the directions. Pi is 3.14. Just using what's in the information. Times, once again, we have something called the diameter. The radius, we only want half of the diameter. So half of 12 is going to give me a radius of 6. In case you want to know how to do that, just divide by 2. Okay, so radius is going to be a total of 6 times 6 to the third power. So volume equals, this is calculator time, 4 divide 3 times pi 3.14 times 6 to the third power. And let's roll. 904.32. This one looks very familiar. So we got 904.32. The reason why it looks familiar is we had another question that gave us the radius 6, but now they try to change the question by putting the diameter 12, but it's actually the same sphere. So we're just going to use the same answer again. So we're going to use 904.32 and hit it. There we go. All right, we're at a smart score of 40. We're going to keep on going, and the formula does not change. So here we go. We're going to use our volume equals 4 divide 3 times pi times r to the third. Volume equals 4 divide 3. I just like putting the division sign better because fractions, for whatever reason, throw people off, but fractions mean divide. Times 3.14 times radius. Now they did give us the radius this time, so the 2 is halfway across, so the 2 is perfect. 2 to the third power. And here we go. Calculator. So 4 divide 3 times pi 3.14 times 2 to the third power. Now what's 2 to the third power? Now that one you can do it in your head, right? 2 times 2 is 4 times another 2 is 8. So 2 to the third power should give you 8. And we're getting 33.49. So 33. A lot of mathematicians will call the decimal and, so we can say 33 and 49. Now here we have a 3 after the 9, which causes the hundredths place of the 9 to be left alone. It's lower than a 5. So here we go. We are going to plug it in. So 33.49. Keep on going. Keep on going. All right. Next up, same formula. Volume equals 4 over 3 times pi times r to the third. It helps when you write down the formula. You're probably wondering, well, Mr. Painter, we got the formula memorized. Why do you got to keep writing it down? Well, I keep writing it down because it helps me memorize it. And I notice after problem, I'm like, I kind of just rattle it off. And it's like, oh, it's 4 over 3 times pi times r to the third power. And when you get the formula correct, you get the problem correct. But once you get the formula incorrect, you're going to be stuck. So you got to get that formula correct. All right, so volume equals 4 divide 3. Again, not a big fan of fractions, but division is a lot easier because it's the same thing. So 4 divide 3 times pi 3.14 times 1 to the third power. Let me see. 1 times 1 is 1 times another 1 is 1. So 1 to the third power is still 1. And 1 times 1 times 1 is still 1. And 1 times anything is still the same thing. You won't even need the radius on this one. Let's try it without it, see what happens. That only happens when it's a 1 because 1 times 1 is still 1 times another 1 is 1. But any number times 1 is still the same number. So, see, using a good old noggin right there. All right, here we go. Let's see what happens. 4 divide 3 times pi. 3.14. And no radius because the radius cancels out to 1. I got a volume of, what do we got? 4.186. Okay, the 6 is higher than a 5, which means that 8 needs to bump up by 1. So we're going to go ahead and round to the nearest hundredth of volume equals 4.19. All right, let's see if we got this right. 4.19. Easiest question you're going to get because when the radius is 1, you can't make it any smaller than that, right? All right, worked out. Clear the board. And this one looks, again, familiar, but I don't remember what it was when I had a radius of 2. So we can just go ahead and work it out. and see if a number looks familiar when we get it at the end. All right. So volume equals, we got 4 over 3 times pi times r to the third power. So we're going to go volume equals 4 divide 3 times pi, 3.14. Mr. Painter, where's you getting the 3.14 from? Because it tells you right there. Just a reminder, because we forget, right? All right. Times 2 to the third power. Because remember we talked about 2 to the third power. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. So we're going to get a total of 8 there. So let me just go ahead and put that step in there so that we can show that it's been worked out. So volume equals, I got 4 divide 3 times pi, which is 3.14, times 8. Because 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. So 2 to the third power is 8, which saves me 1 step in the calculator. Pretty nice. I like it. So 4 divided 3 times 3.14 times 8, right? And I always kind of double check it real quick just to make sure I got it right. Because if you put something wrong in the calculator, you're going to get it wrong because the calculator is going to give you the wrong answer because you put it in wrong. All right, so I got 33.49. All right, so here we go. We got volume equals 33.49. The 9 doesn't not round because the 3 in the thousandths place, so this 3 right here, is not higher than 5, so leave it alone. All right. Let's plug it in. So 33.49. Just rocking it. Okay, smart score is 60. We're going to keep on going. And notice it gets easier and easier because it's just like, it's a pattern, right? Patterns in math, use them. So I got volume equals 4 over 3. You guys probably got this memorized. 4 over 3 times pi times, what was it? What was it? Some of the radius? R to the third power. Nice. So I got volume equals 4 divide 3 times pi 3.14 times, we have a diameter. Good try, IXL. I only want the radius, so I want half of 16. So therefore, my radius is going to be 8. 16 divided 2 gives me the radius, which is 8. So I'm going to use 8 to the third power. All right, calculator, 4 divided 3 times 3.14 times 8, exponent tool, x to the y, third power. Bam, de bam. We got, what is it? Volume equals 2,143.57. Now, do we have to round the 7? The answer is no, because the thousandths place of a 3 is smaller than a 5. So 5/7 stays. All right. 2,143.57. If you want to use the mathematical term, you can say and 57. 2,143 and 57. And hit it, 65. Okay, so we're at 9 problems. Remember the first one we got wrong, so we only did 8 problems. We're at 65, so it's moving right along. And we're actually going at a pretty good pace. Keep in mind this is a tutorial, so as I'm doing it, I'm explaining it to you. But you guys will figure out your methods and ways to get it done even faster probably than me. And plus, I'm writing the formula out every time because I want to memorize it. So here we go again. Volume equals 4 over 3 times, what was it? Yeah, you got it. Pi. What was the last part? R to the third power. All right. So volume equals 4 over 3 times 3.14 times, they try to be kind of sneaky, 1.5, which is still the radius because it's halfway across. The decimal of the radius doesn't matter, so we're just still going to use 1.5 for the radius, 1.5 to the third power. That's it. Don't let it throw you off. And right here, I could have put 4 divide 3. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do that because it's kind of bothering me. I don't like fractions. It's 4 divide 3. There you go. Okay, some of you are like, well, Painter, I thought you were talking about division. Yeah, I was, but I'm only 99.999% perfect. It happens. All right, here we go. 4 divide 3 times 3.14 times 1.5. See, I just literally put 1.5, right? To the third power. Exponent tool to the third power. Came out beautiful. 14.13. It is already rounded to the nearest thousandths place. So volume equals 14.13. 14 and 13 if you want to go ahead and mathematically say that. All right, 14.13. Same thing. Now we're at 70. Probably maybe another 3 more. I think we'll be done. And this one's straightforward. No decimals. And they're so nice. They gave us the radius already without the diameter. So I like that. All right. So I got volume equals 4 over 3 times pi times, guessed it, r to the third power. All right. Volume equals, convert the fraction into a division because that's what it is. 4 divide 3 times 3.14 times radius. They gave it to us directly, so 19 to the third power. Clear. 4 divide 3 times 3.14 times 19. This number is going to be pretty large. To the third power. And yeah, it's a big old number. All right. So let's go ahead and make note of that. We got volume equals 28,716 and 346. Now I went to the nearest thousandths place because the 6 is going to cause the hundredths place to round up by 1. So last step is we're going to call it volume of 28,716.35 because that 4 rounds up by 1 due to the fact that the 6 is higher than 5. All right, so here we go. We have 28,716.35 due to rounding. We're at 74. Clear the board. All right. Okay, next up we got volume equals 4 over 3 times pi times r to the third power. Volume equals 4 divide 3 times 3.14 times, oh, and that's just great. They gave us 33.6 on a diameter. I don't care because I'm going to use a calculator to cut it in half. So don't complicate it. All right, so yeah, 33.6. So what I want to do is I want to do 33.6 divide 2 to give me my radius. And you know what? Just use a calculator. Don't complicate it. 33.6 divide 2. And it's 16.8. So our radius is going to be 16.8. All right. And let's go ahead and take that little mark off there. Perfect. Okay. So 16.8. Now you may be kind of weird, or you'd be like, well, why do we have a decimal for radius? It doesn't matter. It's just, it is what it is, right? So to the third power. Calculator time. All right. 4 divide 3 times 3.14 times 16.8 That's a decimal. So try not to mix your multiplication with your decimals. It happens, but don't do it, right? Okay, times, I should say not times, but to the third power. And double check it. So 4 divided 3 times pi times 16.8 to the third power. Because if you plug it in the calculator wrong, you're going to get the wrong answer. This looks good. All right. Nice big giant number, but it doesn't matter because we know we got it right because the calculator did the work and we did our steps correctly. So we're going to do volume equals 19,851.63. I'm going to stop at 63 because the 2 in the thousandths place in the calculator does not cause the 3 to round up. So we are done right there. All right. So 19,851, 851, and 63. Just beautiful. One more to go, and we are done officially at 12 problems because even though it says 13, remember the first problem, we just got it wrong because we wanted to learn how to do it. I always do that because it tells me the steps. Use the steps, same steps over and over again, and it makes you very successful. All right. Roll for a smart score of 80 or higher. Maybe a smart score of 81, 82, where it end up. I'm good with that. All right. Since this is our last problem, thinking to yourself, what is the formula of a sphere? Wait a minute. Are you telling me? I think you know what it is now because we said it so many times. Are you telling me it's 4 over 3 times pi times r to the third power? Because if you told me that, you got it right. So 12 times later, we nailed it. All right. So volume equals 4 divide 3 times 3.14 times, trying to be sneaky again, 16.2. Well, 16.2 and half, we can do that. Half of 16 is 8, and half of 2 is 1. 8.1 is your radius. I like it when they're numbers that are divisible by 2. Makes it easy. All right. So radius is 8.1 to the third power. Go calculator. 4 divided 3 times 3.14 times 8.1 to the third power. And there we go. So I got volume equals 2,224. A lot of twos. 0.966. Because the thousandths place is a 6, we need to round the hundredths place up by 1. So therefore, volume equals 2,224.97 will get us to a smart score of 80 or higher, if I did it right. I haven't gotten one wrong yet, but why not? So 1, 2, 3, 2s, 4.97. And congratulations to me. I got a smart score of 82. I got 2 ribbons. Go Painter. Go Painter. Awesome. And this concludes your tutorial for finding the volume of spheres for 8th grade math.